So, what year are you finally released?
1998, January the 5th,
Damn,
1998.
you on your way out. That's when I got the attitude, 1998.
Mm-hmm.
So you go. You said January 1998.
January the 5th.
January the 5th, 1998. What is your mindset at this time?
Um, it's over. It's finally over. I'm
Mm-hmm.
finally free. I can finally get back out there and pick up my life where I left off at. And at this time, a lot of my high school teachers, because all the time that I had been incarcerated, a lot of them, well, it was about 4 or 5 of them that I was still in contact with.
Yeah.
So one of my instructors, my high school biology teachers, she had gotten together with another one of my teachers, and she was like, do you want to go to college when you get out? And I was like, yeah. So they had actually set me up a scholarship
Mm.
when I got out.
Mm.
And this is one of the things that I be trying to tell my nieces, my nephews, and the people that's coming up, because don't think that what goes around doesn't come around, because it does.
Okay.
And sometimes people can see in us what we don't see in ourselves.
Right. Right.
And these people saw things in me that I didn't see in myself.
Even when you was a
Mm-hmm,
badass. Yeah.
mm-hmm. And this same teacher, she had came to me one time. She said something slick, and I caught it. And she say, "I'm starting to believe that rumor that people are saying about." I said, "What rumor is that?" Don't worry about it, but because you and Marion is my best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, it's like me and Marion, we've been friends for like about 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Marion recently told me, she told me a couple of years ago, she said, "Hell, I could never have you, so I guess I deal with your brother." And I was like, oh, "Okay, though." So that's what type of time you were on back in high school. I'm like, that what type of time you was on in high school? Cause growing up, Mary used to say some sick shit, and me and her get to fight because you say that faggot word and all that
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But and after that, me and her, we became inseparable.
Right.
And when we got to high school or whatever, if they put me out of school, they put her out of school.
Mm.
They'd say, "Go get your friend, girl, and I want y'all out of my
Out of here.
school." And we got suspended together. Her mama didn't play, my mama didn't play. So
Right.
hell, we couldn't. If they suspended us today, we was back in school tomorrow,
Yeah.
because we couldn't go home and let our parents know that we had gotten put out of school,
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't gonna have it
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that or whatever. So, but yeah, those were the things that I thought about when I got out
Mm-hmm.
um of prison. So they were gonna send me to uh there's a college over in South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't think of it now. But the college that I went to a couple of years ago, it was called Argosy
Mm-hmm.
University. That's the college that I went
Okay.
to. And but yeah, so and since I've been home, every chance that I get, because you're never too old to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So every chance that I get, and if it's an opportunity for me to learn something else, I get my ass in there, and I'll apply for a course online or
Yeah.
anything.
Have you ever reoffended? Have you ever gone back to
Hmm.
for it?
Hmm. In 2001, I went back
Hold
for
on, hold on. Let me guess. Bad checks,
no,
credit cards,
no,
fraud.
no,
Okay. What?
sale of cocaine. I was actually facing the racketeering charge. I was.
Hold on. How we get off into the dog guy? You the one that got college educated.
Hmm.
You clearly smart. How
Hmm.
you get into selling drugs?
I wasn't selling drugs. It was just that I had family members that were selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I graduated college back in 2000, my brother bought me a car. He bought me a BMW.
Okay.
So my mom called me and said, "Hey, your brother bought you a graduation gift. You need to come down here and get it." So I traveled to Augusta, went and got it, came back. And, I had family members that were selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I did, as an act of showing my appreciation, is when my brother then would sell drugs, some of the guys that he would have selling drugs for him would come up short with the money and all this and all
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go back down there and I would tell him, I say, well, okay, this is how it's going to work. Whatever he gives you, if it comes up short, you go bring it back to me and you'll deal with me.
Okay.
So when I started doing that, my brother started seeing more of his money coming in now.
So you was like an enforcer?
Somewhat like that. When you brought the money, you
Mm-hmm.
came back to me. If it was short, you dealt with me. If it was short, your pay was short. You didn't expect to get paid the
Right.
same amount
Right.
when it's short. And so after that, they would come back and they would say, "Oh well, this and that, this is that, and this," and my brother would tell them, "Say, well, whatever he say goes."
Mm.
So now y'all got to deal with me. Y'all don't really want to deal with me
Right.
because of the fact that hey, this faggot, this. But yeah,
But you still about your issue.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we started doing that, and that's when he started seeing proceeds and stuff from putting out what he was trying to get back.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this one particular cousin who's uneducated, and he's kind of like he's mental,
Okay.
and he had gotten locked up. And when he got locked up, I did get locked up for possession, but they didn't catch it on me. They caught it in my vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got locked up, not not being able to read or whatever it was, being uneducated, he ended up signing a statement against me.
Mm.
Because mind you, we're in an impoverished neighborhood. We're in the hood.
You in this is Augusta or
No,
Atlanta?
this is in Augusta.
Okay.
And I'm driving a BMW. So when they see me riding around in this neighborhood, I'm driving a BMW. Where do you get it from? What
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? This, that,
So
and the
you
third.
already got a light on you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And once he did that, and then when I got locked up, they was asking, okay, where are you getting the drugs from? This, that, and the third. He pinpointed me.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't getting any drugs from me,
Right.
but you were making. And when you brought back the money, I made sure that the money was straight, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get any drugs from me.
Right.
And they ended up locking me up for that. And when they locked me up for that, I was facing a RICO charge. I
Mm.
was facing possession charges and possession with intent to distribute charges and stuff like that.
Some of these charges sound trumped up though, like because they didn't.
They were trumped up,
Okay.
and but because he had signed this statement,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I went up there, that's when it's like I was like, you know what? And I stayed in the county jail at this time. I stayed in the county jail for about 13 months.
Mm.
And I had one of the top attorneys in Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Name was Peter Johnson. He was one of the top attorneys in Augusta. And he was like, you guys paid me. I'm gonna fight for you, this, that, and the third. And you know what I told him? I said, Mr. Johnson, I say, I'm tired. I said, I've been down here for 13, 14 months. I'm ready to go. Whatever they're gonna give me,
You'll
let them
go
give it
ahead
to
and
me.
do it. Yeah.
And because they had already told me that I wasn't gonna get any probation anyway. I wasn't gonna you didn't give me a bond. You already told me I wasn't gonna get any probation, so I'm already facing jail time.
Mm-hmm.
So they ended up giving me 15 years.
Mm.
And they ended up giving me those 15 years. I did 36 months. Well, actually, it was a split sentence, 15 in, 15 out.
So you did 15 months. Where do you go? Where you get shipped off to
When I
initially?
when I left when I left Augusta, I went to Coastal.
Because
From
that's what
Coastal,
diagnostic is.
uh-huh.
Okay, so hold on. What year is it?
This was 2001.
Is there a difference between 2001 and the time that you went through diagnostic at Alto, just in reference to
What the
that?
diagnostics programs were different, and it was a different setting because now you're not only just dealing with uh mentally it is, physically it is, and but there's no comparison between the two because going through diagnostics in Alto and then going through diagnostics in Coastal, a lot of things had died down as far as, violence in the prison at that time
Mm-hmm.
from Alto to Coastal. So
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you went through diagnostics, some people stayed there a couple of weeks and they, got paroled out from the
Right, right.
diagnostic program. So that was one of the things that, I was thinking that could possibly happen to me. Got down there, that wasn't the case. I ended up going to I think Smith State Prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to Smith State Prison, I think I stayed there like a year and a half. Then
How was
I was
how
home from
was
there.
life at Smith?
Smith State Prison was okay. It ain't nothing like it is now.
It's
Smith is off
migrant.
the
It's dead.
chain.
It's a dead body right
Yeah,
now at Smith State
yeah,
Prison.
yeah. And then Smith was cool, calm, and stuff like that because it wasn't as nearly as violent as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was at Smith, I was actually involved with one of the little boys down there. And he had a life sentence.
He's younger than you,
And
at your age, or older than you?
he's younger than me. I've never actually. I think during the time that I have been incarcerated, I've only dated probably one guy that's been older than me. The rest of them
Oh,
have been substantially younger.
okay.
And
So this dude's still locked up.
he's out now.
Oh, yeah, out now.
He's out now.
Have
He
y'all
actually stays down
communicated?
there. Yeah, we're still friends. We talk to each other back and forth on Facebook and
Okay,
stuff
okay,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
Because with my job, we deliver throughout the whole state of
Right,
Georgia. So
right.
sometimes there was a time when I had to get in the truck and make deliveries. And I know in making deliveries, I used to have to go through like Griffin and all that stuff there, and he stays down there in the Griffin area. So I would call him and I would say, "Hey, I'm in your area,"
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that or whatever. So but yeah, he's married now with a wife, and they're in the church and stuff like that. So as far as communicating between he and I, we keep it cordial. It's strictly professional. We don't talk
You
about the
think he ever
past.
put you on the altar? Or we just ignore that?
Would he put me on the altar
Mm-hmm. Or just,
at his church?
honestly, when I say put you on the altar, what I mean is that he's clearly had some type of uh, homosexual activity. Maybe he still is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what my question is? I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking because a lot of if I've robbed, if I've stolen, if I've done something that some people perceive to be as a sin, is this something he would be that kind of person to put it
Mm-hmm.
on the altar, or is he just pretending that it didn't?
He probably I can't say
Mm-hmm.
because I know in some of our conversations, even recent conversations, if he reach out or something like that, and he be like, hey, I need $200-300. I need this, I need that, and I would always tell him, I said, no, I can't. I wouldn't feel right giving you money. You're married. We don't even discuss those things anymore.
Mm.
And I know even when he was up for parole, one of the things that he would always ask, hey, send me this, send me that, so I can pay this guy to do some legal work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I never shared with him was finances. We never discussed finance, even
Mm.
when we was messing around within the
So this
walls.
relationship wasn't nothing like my. Is that your phone? What is that?
Mm-mm.
On the fridge. It might be outside. You hear it though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I hear
hello?
buzzing noise.
All right. Well. Oh. Maybe it was the computer. I don't know. All right. So, because the relationship with this individual ain't nothing like my man who could have picked up the 4,000 at all. Okay. You end up doing how much time behind the dope charge?
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you interacted with that younger guy. Well, all your guys have been younger.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that the only relationship you have in there? And then does the temperament any different from the past in reference to
to them. Yeah, because actually, and even with dealing with him, he was one of the ones. He probably came through alto with you,
Okay.
so he was in an alto kind of mindset too.
Right. Which
But
was
it was different than mine because as far as you know how when you go from one institution to the next, you have to let a motherfucker know that you done went through alto. You got to let that be known.
Hey, you know what, man? You know what? I do it. I have
Mm-hmm.
done. I do it on the street, and
Mm-hmm.
then you know, and I'm just gonna be all the way honest. I could be having a diversity in a corporate setting,
Mm-hmm.
and I say to myself, "Motherfucking alto, baby, nigga, I
Uh-huh.
can do
Uh-huh.
anything.
Uh-huh.
Ain't nothing,
Uh-huh.
nigga. Alto, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you talking about? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a bad. I'm just being honest. It's just like it give me confidence. It's like, man, you ain't finna try me, nigga. I'm
Mm-hmm.
goddamn alto
Mm-hmm.
with that shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
And all, nigga, what you
Mm-hmm.
talking about? And it don't even be to nobody, and just something that I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand exactly what you're saying. I
Mm-hmm.
understand exactly what you're saying. Again, I gotta ask you this question: how do you view yourself? This is your second time going to prison, and
But now, and this is my second time going to prison, but I feel as if this second time around it was totally unwarranted because like I say, it's like I had someone to say some things that were totally false against me,
mm-hmm,
but because of my past, it
it
was
caught up
harder
with
for me to prove.
you, right?
So when it comes to that, and mind you, this is my first cousin, and I haven't spoken with him in 25 years.
What about the one, the big man? Did he reap the repercussions? The one who bought you the BMW?
No, he didn't. He wasn't involved
Okay,
anyway. But the thing about it, prior to him, they were trying to get him, but they never could find anything
right,
on you.
right, 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 right. So now the cousin who is not the smartest person in the
Hmm.
family, do you ever take that into consideration in reference to interacting with him?
Mm-mm,
Not at all.
mm-mm. And my mom passed about almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And one of the things my mother used to always say, forgive him. And I tell him, I say, no, I can't forgive him. And even if I did forgive him, I can't forget it because this is something that's going to follow me
Forever.
forever,
Yeah.
even outside of what I've already put
Yeah.
my own self through
Yeah.
25, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you to say forgive him because you're not faced with it.
Right.
But I'm faced with it every time I fill out a job
Big
application
facts.
or I'm submitting a resume because they may not look at that stuff from 35 years ago, but because this is up to
Kind of
date,
recent.
it
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah. Okay. So what prison do you leave from? Do you leave from Smith?
I went home from Smith State Prison.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you, what's upon your release, how you feeling? What's the goal? What's the ambition?
Um,
And do you do anything in reference to your education while you're at Smith this time?
because by this time
Ain't nothing.
there's nothing.
Everybody's stuck on stupid.
Hmm. And when I do get out, I go back to Augusta because that's where the crime was. That's why I ended up paroling out to.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed on parole for 6 months there.
Mm-hmm.
And after that 6 month, I transferred back up here to Atlanta.
Okay.
And I've been back up here in Atlanta almost 25 years. But once I did that, I came up here, and that's why I tell a lot of people too that you can dodge trouble. You can give back the state anything that the state gave you. And what I mean by that is because I really supposed to still be on probation or parole even now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came here, I kept a steady job.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on my job at the time for 9.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had a place of, a permanent residence. And I didn't incur any new charges.
Right.
So those were three factors that when I was on parole, the parole board, even with the parole supervisor, used to always ask me, why are you still on parole? Why are you still on
Yeah.
parole? That's a question that you should be directing toward the parole officers. And he was like, well, when your PO comes back, let your PO know that I requested this and I requested that. And I had one PO in Jonesboro at the time that I think didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came by and I asked him, he was like, "Oh well, I got about two more people that I'm gonna do before you, and it's gonna be about 6 months." And I was like, 6 months. I was like, well, I really don't care, as long as it doesn't take 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, they gave me another PO. She came back. She asked the same thing. And I'm like, well, we've already gone through this. So by this time, I ended up transferring to Cobb County.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to Cobb County, I wasn't up in Cobb County 2 months before the people asked me the same thing, and the man put in the paperwork, and he got me taken off for parole. And then now I'm not thinking that, immediate, because you got a split sentence. So after your parole ends, your probation starts. So I ended up I'm riding around here. I ain't seen no parole officer, no probation officer in about 3 years. And so something tell me to call these people and see what's going on. And they had me to come in down there on Pryor Road. I went Pryor Street. I went to Pryor Street. They sent me up here on Sylvan Road.
Yeah.
When I went to Sylvan Road, I went in and the guy, he was like, well, what's he was like, he piss test me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said I had been smoking. And he piss test me. He told me, he said, well, you're dirty.
You
And
look
if
like
it,
an actor.
and it comes
I'm gonna
back.
tell you who this actor is because I was just watching him last night, and I got the. I'm sorry, but it just dawned. I don't know if you heard this.
Mhm.
There is an episode of Key and Peele,
Mhm.
and the bald headed one is
Mhm.
acting as if he is gay.
Mhm.
The rest of the family is preparing for a gay marriage,
Mhm.
and he's got these straight family members
Mhm.
around, and they are inquiring about one of the guys. I'm gonna
Mhm.
show him to you. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, and I was trying to figure out the whole time you was
Mhm.
talking. And
thanks so much for having me here.
Hold on.
And
It's gonna be the guy that's sitting on the couch. Hold on.
Really, I just wanted to say basically that a gay wedding is just like a straight wedding. Yes, sir. So then, do the men wear dresses and then the women would wear suits?
You don't think so?
No. You would just wear exactly what you would wear.
Oh, no.
This skit is ridiculous as hell.
So I assume that we would all sit then in the straight section. The straight section? Yeah. Oh, the straight section, he means as opposed to the gay section. No. There's no sections, guys. But the gay people. No. What you would just sit on the straight. No, Larry, listen.
Okay, so but I don't want to get copyrighted. But when I was saying, I said, "Damn, that's who you look like." That's who you look like.
Steven, no, absolutely.
You never heard that. No. My bad. Maybe because I just watched it last night, and I was like, "It is what it is." Do you see the resemblance though?
No,
you don't.
God
damn! Now you're making me feel bad. Okay. So when did you come off paper?
I came off paper about 8-9 years ago. About 8 years ago.
Have you tried to get your pardon?
I've made the first step, but the thing about it, I ended up writing one of the higher ups at the parole board. He sent me a bunch of papers, and he was like, fill them out and stuff like that. And I did it. But and in some part about it, he said something about you have to get 3 of your associates or whatever to write statements in your defense. So I ended up printing that off, and I gave my roommate one, I gave my best friend one, and I gave another person at my job one. So I just got to get all this stuff back together.
I encourage you to do it, and I'll send you the link. But I got my pardon in 2013. I went and got a license to carry. It's not gonna stop you because your mind's strong and it don't. But to have that pardon, it feels good. But then when they gave my license to carry, you would have thought I had the ace of spades. I went to the guy. Let me get one of them. Let me get 2 of them right now. So I'm legal. I'm legal with everything that I do. But that's a whole nother conversation. But So since you've been off paper, you don't play on both sides no more. You ain't
Mm-mm.
trying to take over Augusta. You
Mm-mm.
ain't, and you've been living in Atlanta. Why Atlanta?
Well, my dad has always stayed up here.
Okay.
And since the early '80s, I've always been back and forth up here visiting him. And when I made my own decision to move to Atlanta, it was for job opportunities
Uh-huh.
as well as the fact that I always felt as if with my run in with the law in Augusta
Mm-hmm.
that I could do better elsewhere. So, what better city to come up here and do it than Atlanta?
Do you feel like you've ever been denied, or people acted funny, or gave you some type of weird energy because of your sexuality?
No,
Okay.
no. And I mean and it might be because until you get to know me, you won't even know that side of me because I'm not going to just automatically wear it on my sleeve to
Mm-hmm.
where you can look at me and say, oh, this is him, this is
Mm-hmm.
him. So now when I feel comfortable enough around you, then I'll share certain things, bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But because I know coming up here, I went to one job and I was interviewed with about 9 different people.
Mm-hmm.
And because of my background and because of me, that was the reason why I was hired.
Mm.
And the
Why you?
lady
Why you?
and the lady that hired me, that was one of the reasons why she hired me. And she was like, have you gotten all of this taken care of? And I was like, yeah. She was like, so no polices are gonna run in here looking for you with warrants and
Yeah.
any of that. I said no. And she say, so of all of this is what, this is what I'm gonna do. She was like, this is your start date. And I don't know what else they were against, but I'm pretty sure that if they had anything remotely close to what I had as far as charges and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
even if they even had charges,
Yeah.
but she chose me over all of them. So,
Mm.
and in her choosing me over all of them, as I began to grow with that company, everybody that came in that had barriers such as me,
Mm-hmm.
those were the ones I looked at because she gave me a chance. I got to give my next person a chance, my next
Gotcha.
fellow. And so that's what I do, even in my line of work now.
Yeah.
If you've been incarcerated and you come out here and you show me that you want to work, hey, come work for us.
You know what? I'm the same way, but then I am. I'll have those conversations with you that you because I'm an anger management specialist by trade, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm licensed. And right here in the same county that I got convicted in,
Mm-hmm.
you can go to you can get into a argument with your wife or your husband,
Mm-hmm.
and you can get sentenced to come to my class. But see, my
Mm-hmm.
conversation a tad bit different because
Mm-hmm.
I know what dead man's curve is.
Mm-hmm.
And I may or may not have stabbed them.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I, it's different. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
give you some answers so you can give them back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is one of my last questions, and it's not gonna be related to prison at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what does, and I don't know if this is a weird question, what does Atlanta, if anything, mean to the LGBTQ community?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is where majority of the LGBTQIA, this is where they migrate to for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because, you know, of the massive amount of people that are here, so people come up here and they find it, a whole lot more tolerable
Mm-hmm.
than a lot of other places.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that here, and like I said earlier, gay has no special, gay has no description.
Right.
Because you can look at somebody and now you can't look at somebody and say that, oh, he's gay, this, that, and the third, because the facades, it changes.
Yeah.
The dynamics change. But so you got people that are running Fortunate 500 companies here. They're gay.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that are just from different aspects of the work spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
They're here in Atlanta. And one thing I'll say about older gay people as opposed to the younger generation. The older generation, the older generation, they're more into the job scenes that are gonna create money and open up doors and different things like that, where the new generation, they come in and they feel as if it's like you can't tell them anything.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody want to be their own boss, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to take notes and lessons from some people. And for the older ones that have been out here and that have ran these Fortune 500 companies, these multi-million dollar companies and stuff like that. And I feel as if it's like they've come to Atlanta, they've gotten established, and they've laid foundations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And other people have gravitated toward them, so you can't be discriminative to people that have say built your company,
Right.
or help you build your
Right.
company and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
And then you'll find a lot of that here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That you probably won't find anywhere. So
Anywhere
when it comes to that, I think that that's why a lot of people gravitate to um to Atlanta, the ones especially that live alternative lifestyles. But when it comes to that, hey, the younger generations, they come in for other things.
Mm-hmm.
And the older generations, I think the foundations that they've laid, it's more profitable for you to understand it and to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just think that, that's one of the reasons why, Atlanta has been prosperous with, the gay community.
Okay.